Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The sun hangs low in the sky, casting long shadows across the beach as the waves roll in, a rhythmic lullaby against the shore. I stand at the edge of the water, feeling the cool, damp sand beneath my feet, watching the tide ebb and flow. It's supposed to be peaceful here, a place where worries are meant to be washed away by the sea. But there's something unsettling beneath the surface, an unease that has been growing within me ever since we arrived. "Hey, Liam. You coming?" Jess calls out to me, her voice bright, almost too cheerful. She's a little further up the beach, setting up our towels and adjusting the large umbrella to provide just the right amount of shade. I glance over at her, her silhouette framed by the golden light of the setting sun. Her dark hair is loose, whipping around in the breeze, and she's wearing that floral sundress she knows I like. "Yeah, just a minute," I reply, forcing a smile that I hope reaches my eyes. But inside, there's a knot in my stomach that refuses to loosen. We've been here for 3 days now, at this idyllic resort nestled on the coast of some island that Jess insisted would be perfect for a getaway. "Just the two of us," she'd said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "A chance to reconnect," she claimed, to leave behind the stresses of our daily lives. But the moment we set foot on this island, something felt off. It started small, like the way she always seemed to have her phone with her, clutched tightly in her hand or stashed away in her beach bag. She'd excuse herself at odd times, saying she needed to check something or make a call. And there were the times she'd wander off on her own, claiming she needed a break, needed some space. "Just want to take a walk, clear my head," she'd say with a casual wave, but her eyes wouldn't meet mine when she did. At first, I shrugged it off. Jess had always been independent, and I'd always admired that about her. We both needed our space sometimes, and I was fine with that. But this felt different. It was like she was slipping away, just out of reach, and no matter how hard I tried to pull her back, she kept drifting further. I walk back to where she's sitting now, sprawled out on the towel with a book in her hands, though I notice she's not really reading it. Her eyes are distant, staring out at the horizon, lost in thought. I sink down beside her, brushing some sand off my legs. "Nice here, isn't it?" I say, trying to sound casual, but my voice comes out strained. She glances at me, her expression unreadable. "Yeah, it's beautiful," she murmurs, but there's something missing in her tone, something hollow. "You've been a bit distracted lately," I venture, my heart pounding in my chest. "Is everything okay?" She looks at me then, really looks at me, and for a moment, I see something flicker in her eyes, guilt, perhaps, or fear, but it's gone before I can place it. She reaches out and takes my hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. "I'm fine, Liam. Just thinking about a lot of things. Work's been stressful, you know that. And being here, it's like I'm finally letting it all go." I nod, wanting to believe her, wanting to push aside the nagging doubt that's been gnawing at me. But something about the way she says it, the way she avoids my gaze, makes it hard to swallow. "Why don't we go for a swim?" I suggest, trying to lighten the mood. "The water looks amazing right now." Jess hesitates, then smiles, too quickly. "Maybe later. I think I'll just stay here and read for a bit." "You go ahead, though." I can feel the rejection sting, even though I know she doesn't mean it that way. Or maybe she does. I'm not sure anymore. "All right," I say, trying to keep the disappointment out of my voice. "I'll be back soon." I get up and head towards the water, feeling her eyes on me as I go. The ocean is cool against my skin, a welcome relief from the heat, but it does little to calm the storm brewing inside me. I swim out a little, letting the waves carry me, trying to clear my mind, but it's no use. The doubts, the suspicions, they're all still there, lurking in the corners of my thoughts. When I finally wade back to shore, Jess is gone. Her towel is still there, her book left open on the sand, but there's no sign of her. I look around, expecting to see her somewhere nearby, but the beach is almost deserted. Panic flares up in my chest, irrational and sudden. I grab my own towel, drying off hastily as I scan the area. Where could she have gone? And why didn't she tell me? After what feels like an eternity, I see her walking back from the direction of the resort, her face flushed as if she's been rushing. I raise an eyebrow when she gets closer, trying to keep my voice light. Where'd you disappear to? She laughs, but it's a brittle sound, forced. Just went to grab us some drinks. Thought it'd be a nice surprise. She holds up 2 bottles of water, but something in her demeanor makes the gesture feel less than genuine. Thanks, I say, taking one, though my mind is racing. Something doesn't add up. You could have told me, though. I was starting to worry. She shrugs, avoiding my eyes. Didn't think it'd be a big deal. Sorry. We sit there in silence for a while, sipping our drinks and watching the waves. But the tension between us is thick, almost palpable, and I can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something from me. I want to ask her, to demand answers, but I'm not sure I'm ready to hear what she might say. Instead, I keep quiet, letting the unease fester, knowing that whatever it is, it's not going away on its own. Later that night, after dinner, Jess says she's exhausted and heads to bed early. I lie next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening to the soft sound of her breathing, waiting for sleep to take me. But sleep doesn't come. All I can think about is the distance between us, the way she's been pulling away, and the nagging suspicion that something more is going on. When I finally do drift off, my dreams are restless, filled with shadows and whispers I can't quite make out. And when I wake up in the early hours of the morning, Jess is gone again. The bed is cold beside me, the sheets rumpled where she once lay. I sit up, my heart pounding in my chest, as the realization hits me like a wave crashing against the shore. Something is very, very wrong. And I'm going to find out what it is. The first rays of dawn filter through the thin curtains, casting a pale light across the empty bed beside me. The sheets are cool, and the knot in my stomach tightens as I realize Jess didn't come back last night. I sit up, raking a hand through my hair, my mind racing with 100 scenarios, none of them good. Where is she? Who is she with? I pull on a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, slipping into my sandals as I head for the door. The resort is eerily quiet at this hour, the only sounds the distant crashing of the waves and the occasional rustle of palm fronds in the breeze. The hallways are deserted, and as I make my way down to the lobby, I run into Marta, one of the housekeepers. She's a petite woman with kind eyes, and I've exchanged pleasantries with her a few times during our stay. Morning, Mr. Liam, she says with a polite nod. You're up early. Yeah, couldn't sleep, I reply, forcing a smile. Have you seen my wife, Jess? She wasn't in the room when I woke up. Marta furrows her brow, thinking for a moment. I saw her last night, maybe around midnight. She was walking towards the beach. I thought it was strange, but maybe she wanted to enjoy the moonlight. My heart sinks further. Midnight? That was hours ago. Thanks, Marta. I'll go check the beach. I quicken my pace as I head outside, the morning air thick with humidity. The beach is still, the golden sand untouched except for a few sets of footprints leading away from the resort. I follow them, my pulse quickening with every step. As I reach the shore, I see a figure in the distance, sitting on a large rock by the water's edge. It's Jess. Relief floods through me, but it's quickly replaced by anger as I notice the way she's sitting, her shoulders hunched, her head bowed, like she's deep in thought. Or hiding something. Jess. I call out, my voice harsher than I intend. She jumps, startled, and turns to face me. There's a flash of something in her eyes, guilt, fear, I can't tell, but it's gone just as quickly, replaced by a forced smile. Liam, you scared me, she says, trying to laugh it off. What are you doing out here? I could ask you the same thing, I reply, trying to keep my voice steady. You weren't in bed when I woke up. Marta said she saw you come down here last night. Jess looks away, her hands fidgeting in her lap. I needed some air. Couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd come down to the beach, clear my head. All night? I press, my suspicions growing. She doesn't answer right away, and the silence stretches between us, heavy with tension. Finally, she sighs and stands up, brushing sand off her legs. Let's go back to the room, okay? We can talk there. Jess, I start, but she's already walking past me, heading back towards the resort. I follow her, my mind a whirl of questions, but I can tell from her stiff posture that she's not ready to talk. When we reach our room, Jess heads straight for the bathroom without a word, closing the door behind her. I sit on the edge of the bed, the unease gnawing at me like a relentless tide. Something is seriously wrong, and if I don't confront it now, it's going to tear us apart. A knock on the door interrupts my thoughts, and I get up to answer it, expecting maybe housekeeping or room service. Instead, I'm met with the sight of a man I don't recognize, a tall, broad-shouldered guy with dark hair and a confident smile that sets my teeth on edge. Hey, Liam, right? He says, extending a hand. I'm Nate. I think I ran into your wife down by the beach last night. She mentioned you were staying here. My blood runs cold as I stare at him, my mind racing to connect the dots. Yeah, I'm Liam. You met Jess last night? Nate nods, still smiling like this is some casual, friendly chat. Yeah, she was out for a walk, and we got to talking. I'm here with some friends, but they were all out, so it was nice to have some company. Beautiful night, wasn't it? I'm struggling to keep my composure, every instinct telling me to punch this guy in the face, but I managed to keep my voice even. Yeah, it was. Listen, Nate, I appreciate you stopping by, but we're kind of in the middle of something here. Maybe we can catch up later. Nate's smile falters slightly, like he's picking up on the tension in my voice. Sure, man, no problem. Just thought I'd say hi. Enjoy the rest of your trip. He turns and walks away, leaving me standing in the doorway, my hands clenched into fists at my sides. I close the door slowly, trying to process what just happened. Jess met this guy last night, at midnight, on the beach, and didn't think to mention it to me? The sick feeling in my stomach intensifies, and I realize that whatever's going on, it's worse than I thought. The bathroom door opens, and Jess steps out, her face freshly washed, her eyes red like she's been crying. I look at her, my heart aching with a mix of love and anger, and decide that I can't keep tiptoeing around this anymore. Who's Nate? I ask, my voice low, trying to keep the accusation out of it. Jess freezes, her eyes widening in surprise, but she recovers quickly. What? Why are you asking about him? He just knocked on the door, Jess. Said he met you last night on the beach. You didn't think to mention that. She looks away, her hands trembling as she fidgets with the hem of her shirt. It was nothing, Liam. Just a conversation. I didn't think it was important. Didn't think it was important. I echo, my voice rising despite myself. You've been acting weird this entire trip, Jess. Disappearing, avoiding me, and now this. What's going on? She doesn't answer right away, and the silence between us grows thicker, more oppressive. Finally, she looks up at me, tears brimming in her eyes. I'm sorry, Liam. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Didn't mean for what to happen? I demand, stepping closer, my heart pounding in my chest. Tell me, Jess. What are you hiding? She starts to cry then, real tears this time, and I feel a pang of guilt for pushing her, but I can't stop now. She sinks down onto the edge of the bed, covering her face with her hands. "I'm so sorry," she sobs, her voice muffled. "I didn't mean for it to get this far. I didn't mean to hurt you." I sit down beside her, my anger draining away, replaced by a deep, aching sadness. "Jess, please. Just tell me the truth. Whatever it is, we can deal with it, but I need to know." She looks up at me, her face streaked with tears, and I can see the guilt, the fear, the regret all written there in her expression. "Liam, I met someone. I didn't plan it, I swear, but I think I've made a terrible mistake." The words hit me like a physical blow, knocking the wind out of me. I stare at her, my mind reeling, unable to process what she's just said. You're having an affair." She nods, her tears falling faster now. "I'm so sorry. It was just, everything at home, the stress, the distance between us. I didn't know how to handle it, and I did something stupid. I didn't mean for it to go this far, Liam, I swear. I can't speak, can't think. The world seems to tilt on its axis, everything I thought I knew crumbling around me. Jess, my wife, the woman I've loved for years, has betrayed me." The anger surges back, hotter and more intense than before, but it's mixed with a deep, gut-wrenching sorrow that leaves me feeling hollow inside. "Who is he?" I manage to choke out, my voice shaking. "It's Nate," she whispers, her voice barely audible. "It started on this trip, and I don't know how it got out of hand, but it did." I stand up abruptly, needing to put distance between us, needing to think, to breathe. I can't look at her, can't even be in the same room with her right now. I grab my room key and head for the door, my mind a whirlwind of emotions. "Liam, wait," Jess calls after me, but I don't stop. I need to get out of here, need to clear my head before I do something I'll regret. I walk out into the corridor, my steps unsteady, feeling like the ground has been pulled out from under me. Everything feels surreal, like a bad dream I can't wake up from. I keep walking, past the lobby, past the pool, until I'm outside, the fresh air hitting my face like a slap. I stand there, trying to get my bearings, trying to make sense of the mess my life has just become. But there's no making sense of this. Jess has cheated on me. With a guy she met here. On what was supposed to be our chance to reconnect, to save our marriage. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know one thing for certain, nothing will ever be the same again. The midday sun is brutal, beating down on the resort with a relentless heat that only amplifies the turmoil churning inside me. I've been walking for what feels like hours, aimlessly wandering through the lush gardens and winding pathways of this tropical paradise. But the beauty around me does nothing to calm the storm within. My mind is stuck on one thing, Jess's betrayal. I find myself back at the beach, the very place where this nightmare seems to have started. The ocean stretches out before me, vast and indifferent, the waves lapping at the shore with a soothing rhythm that does nothing to quiet the rage simmering just beneath the surface. I sink down onto the sand, my thoughts a tangled mess of anger, hurt, and confusion. How could she do this? How could she throw away everything we've built for some fling with a guy she just met? I want to scream, to break something, to lash out at the unfairness of it all. But all I can do is sit here, feeling the weight of it all crushing down on me. "Liam." The voice pulls me out of my thoughts, and I turn to see Mark, an old college friend, standing a few feet away. He's wearing a pair of board shorts and a faded t-shirt, his expression a mix of concern and confusion. "Mark," I say, trying to muster a smile but failing miserably. "What are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same thing," he replies, walking over and sitting down beside me. "I saw you from the bar, and you looked like you could use a friend. Everything okay?" I shake my head, the words sticking in my throat. Mark and I go way back, but I'm not sure how to even begin explaining what's happening. How do you tell someone that your marriage is falling apart, that the person you love most in the world has betrayed you? Liam, man, talk to me, Mark says, his voice gentle. Whatever it is, you don't have to go through it alone. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself, but it's no use. The emotions I've been trying to keep bottled up come spilling out, and before I know it, I'm telling Mark everything, about Jess, about Nate, about how I feel like my world is collapsing around me. Mark listens without interrupting, his face growing darker with each word. When I finally finish, he lets out a low whistle, shaking his head in disbelief. Jesus, Liam, I don't even know what to say, he mutters. That's messed up, man. Yeah, I agree, my voice hollow. It is. We sit there in silence for a while, the weight of the conversation hanging between us. Finally, Mark speaks again, his tone more resolute. What are you going to do? The question hits me like a punch to the gut, because the truth is, I don't know. Part of me wants to confront Jess, to demand answers, to make her feel the pain she's caused me. But another part of me, the part that's still clinging to the memories of the life we've built together, just wants to forget, to pretend this never happened and move on. I don't know, I admit, my voice barely above a whisper. I really don't know, Mark. Mark looks at me, his eyes filled with sympathy. You don't have to figure it all out right now. But whatever you decide, just know that I'm here for you. Whatever you need. Thanks, I say, grateful for his support. I appreciate it. We sit there for a while longer, talking about nothing in particular, old times, funny memories, anything to take my mind off the mess my life has become. It's a welcome distraction, but eventually, reality comes crashing back, and I know I can't avoid it forever. I should probably head back, I say, getting to my feet. Face the music, you know. Mark nods, standing up as well. If you need anything, just give me a call. And Liam, don't do anything rash, okay? I nod, though I'm not sure I can promise that. As I start walking back towards the resort, my thoughts are spinning with a million different scenarios, each one more volatile than the last. When I reach our room, I hesitate at the door, my hand hovering over the handle. The thought of going in there, of facing Jess after everything that's happened, makes my stomach churn. But I know I have to do it. I can't keep running. I open the door and step inside, bracing myself for what's to come. Jess is sitting on the edge of the bed, her eyes red and puffy from crying. She looks up when I enter, her expression a mix of guilt and desperation. Liam, she starts, her voice trembling. Please, can we talk? I close the door behind me, the sound of it clicking shut echoing in the silence of the room. I take a deep breath, trying to keep my emotions in check, but it's a losing battle. Talk. I echo, my voice shaking with barely contained anger. You want to talk now, Jess? After everything you've done? She flinches at the harshness of my tone, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. I'm sorry, Liam. I'm so sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. Then why did it? I demand, my voice rising. Why, Jess? Was I not enough for you? Did our life together mean nothing? It's not like that, she sobs, covering her face with her hands. I was lost, Liam. I didn't know how to deal with everything. I felt like I was drowning, and Nate, he was just there. I stare at her, my heart breaking with every word. So you turned to him? A stranger? Instead of talking to me, you chose him. It wasn't like that, she insists, her voice pleading. I didn't plan it, I didn't want it, but it happened, and I couldn't stop it. Couldn't stop it. I repeat, incredulous. Jess, you could have stopped it any time you wanted. You chose not to. You chose him over me. She shakes her head, her sobs growing louder. I didn't choose him, Liam. I chose you. I always chose you. But I made a mistake, a horrible, unforgivable mistake, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Please, please believe me. I want to believe her. God, how I want to believe her. But the trust between us is shattered, and I don't know if it can ever be repaired. I don't know if I can do this, Jess, I say, my voice breaking. I don't know if I can ever trust you again. She looks up at me, her eyes filled with a desperate hope. Liam, please. I love you. I love you more than anything. I know I've hurt you, and I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm begging you, please don't give up on us. Her words cut deep, slicing through the anger and the pain, reaching the part of me that still loves her, that still wants to believe in the future we once dreamed of. But that part is buried beneath a mountain of betrayal, and I don't know if it can ever be unearthed. Before I can respond, there's a knock on the door, breaking the tension in the room. I hesitate, glancing at Jess, who looks just as surprised as I am. Who could that be? She asks, her voice small. I don't know, I reply, walking over to the door. I open it to find Nate standing there, his expression serious, his eyes darting between me and Jess. We need to talk, he says, his voice low and urgent. My blood boils at the sight of him, the man who's come between me and my wife, standing there like he has any right to speak to me. I step out into the hallway, closing the door behind me to keep Jess from hearing. What the hell do you want? I snap, keeping my voice low but filled with venom. Nate raises his hands in a gesture of peace. Look, Liam, I'm not here to cause any more trouble. I just want to explain. Explain? I repeat, incredulous. You think there's anything you can say that will make this better? No, he admits, his voice calm. But you need to know the truth. This wasn't just a fling for me, Liam. I have feelings for Jess, real feelings. And I think she does too. His words hit me like a sledgehammer, the final nail in the coffin of my marriage. I want to hit him, to make him feel the same pain he's caused me, but I hold back, my fists clenched at my sides. You're a coward, I say, my voice shaking with fury. You came into our lives, into our marriage, and you destroyed it. And now you have the nerve to stand here and talk about feelings. Nate's expression hardens, his calm demeanor cracking. I didn't mean for it to happen this way, but it did. And now we all have to deal with it. But you need to know that I'm not going anywhere. If Jess chooses you, I'll respect that. But if she chooses me, you need to accept that too. I stare at him, disbelief and rage warring within me. The audacity of this man, this stranger who thinks he can walk into our lives and dictate the terms of our future, is staggering. Get out of here, I say through gritted teeth. Before I do something we'll both regret. Nate hesitates for a moment, like he's considering pushing his luck, but then he nods and turns to leave. As he walks away, I feel the full weight of his words settle on me like a suffocating blanket. I go back inside, closing the door softly behind me. Jess is sitting on the bed, her eyes wide with fear and uncertainty. I don't say anything as I walk over to the window, staring out at the ocean, trying to find some clarity in the chaos. Liam, she whispers, her voice trembling. What did he say? I take a deep breath, still looking out at the water. He said he loves you. And that you have to choose. The silence that follows is deafening. I can feel Jess's eyes on me, feel the weight of her decision hanging in the air between us. What do you want, Jess? I ask, finally turning to face her. Do you want him? Or do you want us? She looks at me, her eyes filled with tears, and I can see the conflict raging inside her. I want her to choose us, to choose the life we've built together, but I'm terrified that she won't. That this will be the end of everything. I don't know, she whispers, her voice breaking. I don't know, Liam. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut, the uncertainty in them twisting the knife deeper. I nod, unable to speak, and turn back to the window, staring out at the horizon as if it might hold the answers I'm searching for. But there are no answers, no easy solutions. Only pain, betrayal, and a future that is more uncertain than ever. The sun is setting on the last day of our vacation, casting a blood-red glow over the ocean. It's a sight I once found beautiful, but now it only serves as a reminder of the darkness that has seeped into my life. I stand on the balcony, looking out over the horizon, lost in thought. The events of the past few days have unraveled everything I thought I knew about my marriage, about Jess, about myself. Behind me, the door to our suite creaks open, and I hear Jess's footsteps approach. I don't turn to face her. I can't bring myself to look at her right now. She's been quiet all day, lost in her own thoughts, and I know she's struggling with the decision that will change both of our lives forever. Liam, she says softly, her voice almost drowned out by the sound of the waves crashing against the shore. We need to talk. Do we? I reply, my voice cold and distant. Or have we already said everything that needs to be said? She sighs, stepping closer until she's standing beside me, her hand brushing against mine. I don't want to lose you, she whispers, her voice trembling. But I don't know if we can fix this. I turn to face her, my eyes searching hers for any sign of the woman I married, the woman I've loved for so long. But all I see is a stranger who has betrayed me in the worst possible way. Jess, I begin, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me, we can't fix this. Too much has happened, too much damage has been done. You chose him, whether you admit it or not. And now, I can't choose you. Her eyes widen, tears welling up as she realizes the finality in my words. Liam, please. No, I cut her off, my voice firm. I deserve better than this, Jess. I deserve better than to be someone's second choice. You made your decision, and now I'm making mine. She stares at me, her face crumbling as the reality of the situation sinks in. So, this is it. We're done. I nod, the weight of the decision settling heavily on my shoulders. We're done. For a moment, neither of us speaks. The silence is suffocating, filled with all the things we'll never say to each other, all the moments we'll never share again. I turn back to the ocean, unable to bear the sight of her tears, the tears that might have once moved me but now only serve as a reminder of the pain she's caused. Liam, she whispers, her voice thick with emotion, I never wanted this. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did, I reply, my tone flat. And now we both have to live with that. There's a knock on the door, and Jess flinches at the sound. I don't move, don't react. I know who it is. Nate. He's been hovering around the resort, waiting for this moment, waiting for her to make her choice. And now, as much as it tears me apart to admit it, I know she's already made it. She hesitates, looking at me one last time, as if hoping for some sign that I'll change my mind, that I'll take her back. But I can't. I won't. Go, I say, my voice devoid of emotion. He's waiting for you. Jess's face crumples, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. She takes a step towards the door, then stops, turning back to me. Liam, I. Just go, Jess, I interrupt, unable to hear whatever she's about to say. It's over. She stares at me for a moment longer, then nods, her shoulders slumping in defeat. She walks to the door, her steps slow and hesitant, as if she's walking towards her own execution. When she opens it, Nate is standing there, his expression unreadable. He looks at Jess, then at me, as if waiting for some sign that he's won. But there's no victory here. Only loss. Jess steps out of the room, closing the door behind her. I stand there, staring at the door, feeling a strange sense of emptiness wash over me. It's done. She's gone. And so is everything we once had. I turn away from the door, needing to distance myself from the memories that threaten to overwhelm me. As I walk across the room, my foot catches on something, and I look down to see Jess's phone lying on the floor, half hidden under the bed. She must have dropped it in her haste to leave. I pick it up, intending to put it on the table and forget about it, but something stops me. A nagging feeling in the back of my mind, a sense that there's something I've missed, something I need to know. I unlock the phone, my hands trembling slightly as I scroll through her messages. And then I see it. A text message, from Nate, sent just a few minutes ago. Nate, it's almost over. I'll meet you outside. Remember, just stick to the plan. We've come too far to back out now. My blood runs cold as the meaning of the message sinks in. The plan. What plan? What the hell is going on? I scroll further back, reading through the messages exchanged between Jess and Nate over the past few days. And with each word, each revelation, the truth begins to unravel before me, a truth more twisted and horrifying than I could have ever imagined. They planned this. All of it. Jess's sudden interest in the vacation, the distance between us, the affair, it was all part of a carefully orchestrated plan. A plan to push me away, to make me the villain in a story they'd already written. They needed a reason for Jess to leave me, a reason that would leave me broken and them free to be together without guilt. But there's more. I keep reading, my heart pounding in my chest as the true extent of their deception is revealed. They weren't just planning to be together. They were planning to ruin me. Nate had been after my business contacts, my assets. He was using Jess to get close to me, to gain access to my finances, my clients, everything I'd worked for. And Jess, she was complicit in all of it. She was going to help him, to destroy me, and then walk away with half of everything I owned. Rage boils up inside me, so intense it makes me dizzy. I can barely breathe, the betrayal cutting deeper than I ever thought possible. This wasn't just about an affair. This was about complete and utter destruction. They wanted to leave me with nothing. But they've underestimated me. I storm out of the room, adrenaline fueling my every step as I head for the lobby. I spot Jess and Nate standing outside, talking in hushed tones. They don't see me coming until I'm right in front of them. Liam, Jess starts, but I cut her off. Shut up, I snap, my voice low and dangerous. I know everything. Their faces pale, the confidence and calm they displayed just moments ago evaporating in an instant. I found the messages, I continue, my voice shaking with fury. You planned this. You planned to destroy me. Both of you. Liam, it's not what you think, Nate tries to interject, but I'm beyond listening. It's exactly what I think, I spit, stepping closer, my fists clenched at my sides. You two are nothing but liars and cheats. You wanted to ruin me. Well, you failed. Because now I'm going to make sure you both pay for what you've done. Jess starts to cry, reaching out to me. Liam, please, it wasn't supposed to be like this. I was confused, Save it, I snarl, jerking away from her touch. I never want to see you again. I never want to hear your voice, or see your face, or even think about you. You're dead to me, Jess. I turn to Nate, who's trying to keep his composure, but I can see the fear in his eyes. As for you, I say, my voice dripping with venom, you'll regret the day you ever crossed me. I'll make sure of that. I step back, my mind already racing with the steps I'll take to protect myself, to sever every tie with Jess and to make sure Nate never gets near anything I own. They thought they could outsmart me, but they're going to learn just how wrong they were. I turn on my heel and walk away, not looking back. The anger burns inside me, fueling every step as I leave them behind, leave everything behind. Jess and I will never see each other again. Our love, our life, it's over, destroyed by lies and deceit. And now, all that's left is the hatred that burns between us, a hatred that will never fade. As I walk away from the resort, the sun finally dips below the horizon, plunging the world into darkness. But I don't care. The darkness suits me just fine. Because I've learned one thing from all of this: you can't trust anyone. Not even the person you love most. And I'll never make that mistake again.